Hey, what's up, guys? Sam here, and I'll be doing the free video for Friday, September 23rd, 2022. So it's been a good 10 days or so, I think, since we last spoke in a video. And in the last video that I did about 2 weeks ago now, I guess, we had talked about the potential for a last hurrah. That was actually the name of the video, I believe, was the last hurrah, meaning that we were going to get one last rally in the market and then it was going to roll over and plunge to the depths of the abyss. And we really didn't get too much in terms of a rally. Um, I don't remember exactly where that video came out. This might have been it here. That actually might have been it. So my thought process was in the last video that we could bounce off. I think that was actually it. We could bounce off this low. We could come all the way back up here to test the 200 again. Basically test this kind of this nexus of this trend line, the purple line, the red line, which is the daily 200, and the VWAP, which is the dotted white line. Basically this. See how it kind of makes like a little bow tie right there? So I thought we could come up from this move, test here, 425 or so, and then we would roll over and die. And it didn't quite happen. Look what happened actually. They gapped the thing, right? They gapped the thing lower and then immediately started breaking the market down. So no last hurrah, or if that was a last hurrah, it was a very sad one. Um, but we did get the plunge. So here's the thing: it shouldn't be complete at this point. So I'm not going to have any real picks for you this week. I'll throw a couple your way, I suppose. But really, the focus is really more on the market because, again, try to find a green stock today of importance, and it's very difficult. You have basically the entire market got hit. And that likely will be continuing to happen. Everything will be red or green, so I don't necessarily see a huge point in sector-specific work, more so focusing on volatility and focusing on the indexes. So one thing to note here is that SPY, there's the June lows, and then everybody has the same question: will these June lows hold? And let me ruin the surprise for you. And you can hold me to this. Just give me at least 2 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks to be either right or wrong. But the question is, will the June lows hold? And the answer is a big fat no. It's not going to hold. So there's a much better support level actually on SPY right below 360, which is the weekly 200, and that's where I think we have to at least touch there at the very minimum. I actually don't think we're going to stop there. I can give you some really, really gnarly targets. I'll go back and give you the same target that I gave you back in March of this year when folks came into my comment section and were saying, Sam, you're smoking the good stuff. What are you doing? You can't say 340. We're trading 420. Well, look where we are now. So the question for this video is, where do we go? The first part is, you see how the June lows here on SPY, I just trace that in and I'll trace it in over here. They're still intact. So you can get a bounce. But let me show you something that's really important. If you look at HYG as a leading indicator of risk-taking behavior, so basically HYG is currently where the SPY will want to go. HYG is like SPY, but it's ahead of it by maybe 2 to 3 days. Think of it like that. So here you have the June lows. We can just collectively call that the June lows. And here would be the June lows again. But look where we are. HYG broke below the June lows. So the implication being that the SPY is going to break the June lows. In reality, I think the SPY at the very minimum has to test that weekly 200. I think it's around 357. I don't expect that to hold. Below that will be 350. You'll have decent support there, but I don't expect for that to hold. And then the real battle will happen at 340 on SPY. So just keep that in the back of your mind. I've been priming the pump with you since March of this year to expect that. So once we get there, we'll go back and revisit it. But hopefully you understand the dynamics here on HYG. That implies that the SPY June lows will not hold. And then the biggest problem that I see is not only the pattern, right? This pattern is very gnarly. This is a little bit of a head and shoulders-ish looking breakdown here, which on its own is not great. But if you look at the signals that are appearing here, you tell me, is there any confusion with what you should do with these signals? And in my opinion, the answer is no. So this appears to be a fresh breakdown, and it will take out pretty much every asset class with it, except for the dollar, of course. So a couple of things that I was looking at, a couple of shorts that I already had in the bag or that I will be looking to reshort. The first one is going to be DDOG. Actually, you know what? Let me actually show you now. NOW. Which had a little bit of a recovery today. This is probably the ripest short that I see. Now, as we go along, I'll show you DDOG next, and that might be the only two that I show you. I think those capture the spirit. At the end of the day, if I'm right about the SPY, even partially, but if I'm right about the SPY, you can literally throw a dart and short anything. I'm just showing you some setups that have decent squeezes. But you see here on now, you have a little bit of a bear flag, right? You have that kind of leg, you have the flag, and then you have the beginning stage of the breakdown. So I want you to pay attention to this. Remember this pattern here, because it's going to come up again on DDOG. So you can look at that as one cohesive pole. It doesn't matter as long as you understand this is kind of the general idea. And you see how the flag lows would be right here. So basically this green line that I'm tracing in, and you see how now has already broken for 3 days in a row now, has has broken the June lows. Another signal that the SPY will also do the same. So now here I think is a fantastic short. Of course, you want to be judicious in your entry and try to short it on bounces closer to the 8 or the 21 EMA. But then look at DDOG here. Now DDOG is stronger because you're going to notice it has the identical pattern, but it has not actually broken the lows. So this is why I wanted to short it amongst every other possible reason on this chart. I see this kind of fruity pebbles looking group of arrows there, and the only thing that tells me is to short. But here DDOG, you have this gap, right? So back to 80 basically. And then you look at the chart and you could draw kind of a bear flag in here as well, right? In a high compression squeeze, active thrust lower, bear trend. But you see how unlike now, it hasn't actually broken down. So DDOG is a stronger stock certainly, but I show you both of these as just catch-alls for everything, right? So it doesn't matter if it's CRM, Microsoft, Amazon, even Tesla. It's going to be subject to the same forces that I'm showing you here on Now or DDOG. I continue to think that the software stocks are a great short, and even the resource stocks are becoming a great short. So one thing that I was short today, and that I already covered, but I would not mind reloading, is FCX. So Freeport-McMoRan here, only because of the idea that people are going to get whipsawed on commodities. So double sell signal, lower high, lower low, weekly active thrust lower, and a bear trend. So hopefully that all makes sense, guys. The main thing that I wanted to share with you was just the SPY setup. There's also a lot of other things that we shared with the premium folks around the VIX. So I'll just give you the levels on VIX that you need to monitor. VIX futures /VX. You need to see that get under 27 for the bulls to have any chance, and you need to see VVIX, VVIX. You need to see that under 95. And if you pull those up on your end whenever you have a chance, you'll notice that they're both above those levels. Those are basically early crash indicators. And if those don't get put back under in the box by next week, then that starts to trigger the June lows breaking on SPY. And if you understand the dynamics as to the totality of everything that I've told you, it doesn't matter what you short in that situation. You could pretty much just throw a dart, and it should pan out. So regardless of what happens next week, I don't know if Monday will be a bounce. I don't know if it'll be a limit down. It doesn't really matter too much. At the end of the day, what I'm looking at is to continue shorting any types of bounces on this market until we at least get to about 340 on SPY, and then we will have a different conversation to have at that point. All right, guys, that's my time. Thanks for spending some of your Friday with us. Be sure to leave us a like before you go somewhere else on the YouTube. If you don't mind, leave us a comment as well. If you have any questions regarding anything that we talked about, or if you have any stock-specific tickers that you'd like for me to take a look at, drop them in the chat or in the comments, and I'll take a look at them for you and let you know how they look. And if you don't have any questions, comments, complaints, or grievances to post, then let me know what you're going to be drinking tonight. And that could definitely be water, or it could be something a little bit more exciting. All right, guys, that's my time. See you for the next video. Cheers. Hey guys, this is Sam, and I'm the Director of Equities at Simpler Trading. I want to thank you for watching this video, and before you go somewhere else on the YouTube, I'd like to ask that you comment and like the video. It really does help us out with the algorithm and getting the message out to more folks who like to see our content. Also, be sure to click the bell notification and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss anything that comes out. If you want to watch us trade in real time using our own money, come over to simplertrading.com and learn how to sign up. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you for the next video. Cheers.